Welcome back to Once Upon a Sister.
I'm Faith.
I'm Rosalie, and we're your hosts. And it is finally time for our Fearless Book Club.
Recap episode.
Yeah, so today we're just going to be talking all of our Fearless thoughts. We both wrote down some notes.
Yeah.
Me more than Faith.
I know. We're like, oh, we need to write down so we know what to talk about. And I just have never done that before, so I forgot to write down. I was also reading like late at night a lot of the times. Like, I don't know. But I wrote down like 5 notes. She's got more, so she's going to kind of lead the conversation.
Okay, yeah.
But
and then we'll be giving our ratings too and just like getting into our thoughts.
Yeah. I'm so excited to talk about it.
Really,
we also haven't really talked about it yet because we were like, we're going to save the conversation for the podcast. So we haven't like delved into it together.
Okay, so first we're going to start out with what have you been reading?
Oh, I read None of This Is True. I just finished it last night. And it's like a psychological thriller. And it follows these 2 women who are like birthday twins. So they are at a restaurant one night and this lady overhears. She's there for her birthday and she overhears someone like, it's your birthday, whatever, happy birthday. And she's like, how old are you? She's 45. Well, this lady that's overhearing the conversation, it's also her 45th birthday. So she's like, oh, we're like literally birthday twins. And she becomes very infatuated with this lady. She hears her name and she looks her up and like she just gets very intrigued with her. And so we're getting both of their points of view. And the other lady, her name's Alex, she runs like a podcast where she interviews women who like did life-changing things, but it's coming to an end and she needs a new topic. So the lady's like, well, I have a crazy life story, like do it on me. I'm gonna change my life because of all this trauma that's happened to me. So I want you to get the before process of like a woman or whatever. And so there's a lot that goes down. And the lady's a little bit obsessive, so it's very interesting. And then right now I'm also reading The Prison Healer, which I was telling her a little bit earlier. I knew nothing going in. I'm only like 30% in, and it's been like really slow to start. I'm interested in the storyline, but it has been a really slow start. But like literally last night when I like the last chapter I read, it was like the last line was like, okay, it's about to pick up now, so I'm excited to read it tonight.
I'm currently reading Wild and Wrinkled, which is the 4th and last book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Layla Sage. And I'm like, I think 70% through, so I'm like really close to finishing it. And I'm really enjoying it. It's the last book, so it's kind of like a little bit bitter. What?
I'm so excited to read it. I'm like, don't tell me anything.
It's the last book, so it's a little bittersweet, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm really excited to see what Layla Sage is going to do next, because this is like her first book series, like anything she's written. So I'm excited to see, like, does she keep writing these type of romances, or is she going to do a different genre? Like, what is the next thing?
Well, she kind of said she already has like something, it's called like Sweetwater or something like that.
Oh, I heard nothing about that.
Yeah, like, because this is in Meadowlark, and then the next place is going to be like Sweetwater, and it's like 2 hours north of Meadowlark.
Okay. Really
I've been watching all of her. I've been watching all of her, like, because she's on tour right now. Oh, yeah. So I've been getting the TikToks.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading, and for once I'm only reading one book. I don't know how, but I'm just only reading one. So.
But you just read The Hunger Games.
Yeah, I just finished The Hunger Games. Finally got into it, and I knew I was gonna love it, but it's just like actually reading it. And Faith was telling me, like, obviously there's details that we don't get in the movies, and I knew that, but just like actually reading it and getting details,
all of them,
is, I don't know, it's really fun. I really recommend it, and I'm excited to read the next ones and finally get to see Haymitch's story.
Yeah. I know, I've been going crazy just needing to talk about it, because like I was gonna tell my dad, I was like, let me tell, because my dad like loves the movies, but then everyone else around was like, don't spoil it. So I was like, I literally almost went in the room with him so I could tell him. I was like, I need to tell somebody, but
we'll be soon.
Yeah. Okay.
So what are you guys reading?
Yes.
And now it is time.
Fearless.
For Fearless.
I'm so excited.
Us after a whole month.
Okay.
First, we're going to get into our ratings.
Yes.
And I believe we both have the same
rating. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 5 stars.
There was no way I could rate this book anything less. Like,
it was so good.
So good.
I've seen a couple of TikToks where people are like, I'm just going to pretend you don't exist. And they're talking about the last 2 books. Like, they just like Powerless and Powerful. And I'm like, you're a bunch of haters.
Get out of here.
So good.
There's the door.
There's the door. Okay. But yeah. I'm just like, I wish we would have okay, this is what we told each other. It was like, it was a new release, so obviously we're going to read it immediately. But I'm like, next time we do our book club, we need to wait till the end of the month to read it, because I've read like 5 books since then, I think.
It's not as fresh on our mind.
Yeah, so I'm like, we need to film the episode immediately after we finish, or like, how are we gonna do that?
But no, like with everyone, I don't know, just something like, I don't know, just reading this book, and like for us, we both also love Lauren Roberts herself, so like following her throughout since Powerless, like writing the other ones, and just seeing like the passion she has for these books, like I feel like it really came through with this one. Like I could feel her, it felt like writing, as I was reading it, like I could feel her writing it. Like
and then I know, just like I reread Powerless and Reckless the week before this came out, so like it was fresh in my mind, and like just the writing style and everything, like you can just see how much she's grown, how much she put into it. So I really liked it. So do you want to start out with some? I have a note from like the second or third chapter, but I don't know. Me too. I think we have the same note, because I think I wrote it in our Fable book club.
Do you want to go or me? I have a lot more.
Okay, let me just start out right at the beginning. So right at the beginning, so at the end of Reckless, Peyton like gets
also,
her.
Wait, this is gonna be a full spoiler. If you've already gotten this far, sorry, you should probably know. But like, this is full spoiler.
This is gonna be a spoiler episode, so if you haven't read it yet, wait to watch this episode.
This is your sign to right now pause, go read the books, and come back.
Okay, so at the end of Reckless, Kai cuts Peyton's hair when she like has like a panic attack, basically, about like she feels like her hair is coated with the blood of people that she's killed and all the people that have died because of her, like Adina, and he just chops it. And it's like, also I saw someone say that this book is tangled coated. Like it totally is.
I didn't think about that.
But so her hair is like jagged. So when she's back in the she's back in the castle. At the castle, and she's accepted the proposal, which drove me crazy. She's getting her hair done by, what's her name again? Ellie. She's doing her hair, and she's like, oh, it's uneven, do you want me to fix it? And then she says, she's talking about her haircut being uneven, and she like reminisces on how she used to cut Adina's bangs for her, and they would always end up uneven. And so she says, I hold on to her in the ends of my own hair. Sorry, I'm gonna cry.
I know, I feel like I'm gonna cry.
She's like, that line alone, I'm like, dude, Lauren Roberts, like the poet that you are. I hold on to her in the ends of my own hair. I had a crash out moment. That was like chapter 3, I think.
No, literally.
It was right off the bat. I was like
we just started the book, y'all.
That moment made me so sad, because it's just her friendship with Adina and like the guilt that she feels for her death.
I know, mine is like the same exact chapter, because in that scene, Ellie's like getting Peyton ready. I think it's for like the first, I can't remember what she's getting her ready for. She's getting Peyton ready for like, I think it's like the dinner where they announce the engagement, and she's getting her ready. So like that's when that scene like happens with the party, hair. Right? Yeah. And when she was dressing her, when she was getting dressed, Peyton was like remembering Adina, and I wrote this little quote down. It's like, but for the first time since her death, Adina's name, that's what it is. She's like talking to Ellie, and she says Adina's name. So this is what I wrote down. But for the first time since her death, Adina's name doesn't feel like a twist to the gut. No, I want to remember her like this. See her in the stitching of a dress or in the rays of the sun. Watch her shine through every second. Oh my gosh, for as long as I remain breathing the air she no longer can. Like, I don't know, the whole scene, just like the way she's remembering her, and like
think about it, like Reckless was like 2-3 weeks, like max 3 weeks. Yeah. So she's only had 3 weeks, and she had no time to grieve. She was on the run the whole time. So like she's now really just grieving now that she's back in the castle.
Things are not necessarily calm, but she's like sitting, and like things are just more calm. So it's like she has time to process it, and she's like, every time throughout the book she brought her up. That scene, like that right there, 3rd chapter, and I was like crying. I don't know, something about like, I don't know, Adina and Peyton, just like the sisterhood between them, and I don't know, it was so sad.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the next notes, I wrote chapter 10, I was shocked. I'm like, what happened? Okay, I remember what happened in chapter 10. Chapter 10 is when they reveal that Peyton like, because they announced the engagement between Kit and Peyton, and like the town and like the Ilia, like the people of Ilia are not happy because they're like, this girl's an ordinary, like why is she gonna be our queen? So Kit decides that they're gonna hold trials for Peyton, where she's gonna like, I don't know, win the people over. I don't know, I was a little bit shocked. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
But it made me excited. Like, when I read that, I was like, I feel like I'm back in Powerless already.
We get more trials.
And it definitely went different because, like, those trials were only Peyton, but it just threw me right back. And I was like, oh, wasn't expecting that little plot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the first time where I'm like, maybe I need to annotate when we're doing a book club.
I know.
Because I'm like, I wrote this down, but I'm like, I don't remember I wish I had the whole conversation. Sure. But I know, because I wrote down, Peyton tells Kai, you are not him. And she's talking to him about, because he's basically comparing himself to his father, that he's evil like him and that he's doing the same things as him. And she's like, she has a whole like moment with him where she's like, you are not him, and he's crying. And so I lost it at that. Like, I don't know, just because you know that he needed to hear that. Like, he despises the man that is his father, and he doesn't want to be like him. Yeah. And so when she was like assuring him, like, you're not him, I was crying too.
I know, something about the romance throughout this whole book. Yeah. I don't know, just
finally they got their connection was like
so much deeper. And I feel like I saw people say like, oh, they gave nothing. I'm like,
no, I saw people saying that like they think that Kai is just like that Lauren Roberts wrote him like to be quotable or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. I think I love his character. Yeah. Like,
I don't know. I feel like Kai is he just loves her. Like, they love each other. And like, despite all the things that are happening in this book, it's like the way they just yearned for each other the whole time.
I know.
Also, y'all bear with us because this is our first time doing this. So it's like, we're trying to figure out how we're supposed to just like talk about one book. Okay. I wrote down this little quote. This is literally just like a tiny little funny thing. It was when like Peyton found Kai in her room, and she asked him, she was like, why are you in my room? And he said, where else would I be? And she was like, your own room maybe? And he's like, my room doesn't have you in it. That's why I'm in yours. I don't know, that just made me laugh. Like, there were so many little quotes in this. Yeah. Which like there are in the other books too, but like the banter, oh, I love them.
Yeah. Also, just the fact that we got to see Kai like jealous was kind of fun.
Because it was like actually like something to be jealous over. It wasn't like a hypothetical. Yeah. Like, they were literally engaged.
Yeah. Also, something that I loved was like the way that even though she was engaged to Kit, it was like they were so sure of their relationship to each other. Yeah. Obviously, they were unsure about what it was going to look like in the future. Like, how were they going to continue? But they never wavered in the, like, no. She never thought that Kai stopped loving her. He never thought that she stopped loving him. Like, they were solid with each other.
Which she didn't try to like build a romance with Kit. Like, yes, she tried to build a relationship with him and like get to know him because she's like, I'm gonna be married to this man. Yeah. But there was no doubt that it wasn't. There was no doubt that Kit would be anything to her.
Yeah. So one thing that was new in this book was we started getting the chapters from Edric, which also they didn't say his name in the other books.
So when we started, we were like, who the heck is this man? Who the
heck is Edric?
Also, can I say, I have seen so many TikToks of people being like I'm going to compare it to like when you're reading Queen of Shadows and you start getting the Manon chapters in Throne of Glass and you're like, can we get past this? Like, I don't care. So many people were saying that about the Edric chapters. And I was like, no, I was going crazy for those. Every time I was like, when's the next Edric chapter? Because I just needed to know.
Because we were getting so much lore in his chapters.
No, like and they weren't long. They were so short and like they gave you so much information. Yeah. No, so that's what like my next note is chapter 20 when what's her name? Kit's mother, Iris? Is that her name? Yeah. Kit's mother gives birth to
No, wait. When they say that she's pregnant and she's like, oh, you've been keeping me hidden since Kit was born. I was like, whoa. Stop the train, bro. Like, hit the brakes. Yeah. I was like, she died. Because I just reread them. I was like, she died giving birth to Kit. That's what we know, is that she died giving birth to Kit. I didn't
catch that part.
And so she's like, he's talking about her swollen belly. Like, she's pregnant. And she's like, you've kept me hidden for 2 years since Kit was born. And I was like, I'm sorry. I got so confused. So I literally wrote, like, because the baby's born, right? And it's a girl. And I was like, immediately, okay, it's Peyton, obviously, in my mind, because they're like, it's Powerless. But I wrote, who the heck is this Powerless baby? That's what I wrote.
No, so that's what exactly what I was talking about. Chapter 20, when I think her name is Iris, right? She gives birth.
Is it Isla?
I don't know. That's too close to Ilya.
Oh.
Anyways,
Sorry.
she gives birth, and they're like, it's a baby girl. And as soon as they said Powerless, I put the book down, and I was like, is this baby girl Peyton or Kit and Peyton siblings? I was like, I immediately had that little theory in my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I could not wrap my head around it. And I think it was, I don't know, from there, I was like, this has to be it. Like, there was no way in my brain I couldn't come up with anything else. And then, so I was telling Faith while we were reading the book, I couldn't tell her what exactly it was about, but that I thought I had gotten, like, a tiny spoiler. But I was like, it's for something that I already had a theory on, so I was pretty sure that it was correct. And I don't know, it didn't feel super spoily. But I got this TikTok that was like, this song sums up the whole of Fearless, and it was Sweet Home Alabama. So like, I didn't have time to scroll, because I scrolled immediately as I saw Fearless, but then I registered that I was hearing Sweet Home Alabama, and I was like, okay, I already know that this is about Kit and Peyton, and like, now like my theory is confirmed. But I don't know, as soon as she gave birth to the baby and it was Powerless, I was like, this has to be Peyton.
Yeah, but also just that whole chapter in general, this guy is so sick and twisted.
Crazy. He's
like
insane.
the second his baby's born, and because his wife dies in the labor, like, that's tragic. I'm so sorry that happened to her. But like, get this baby out of my face. Like, kill it.
No,
kill this child. I'm like, what is wrong with him? Like, he's got no heart. Like, he never shows like a little bit of heart.
No,
it's all strategic.
There's no like, what do you call it?
Empathy?
No, what is
humanity?
it called when they take like a villain and they
redemption?
There was no redemption.
No.
Like, there was no lines at all. There was no any thoughts, any things he said. Nothing was redeeming about him.
Yeah.
He was just a poop head all the way through.
Yeah.
Also, I was gonna ask, because I can't remember, is Jax like actually their brother?
No,
like,
so
I couldn't remember for some reason.
Jax's parents died on the Swallows or whatever, the ocean.
Yeah.
And so he was homeless basically, and they just and Kai's mom
took him in. That had to suck for Kit.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like,
because the way like Kai's mom didn't really accept Kit, like, I understand.
I feel like it's not that she didn't accept Kit, but I feel like it's like they didn't accept each other. Because he was like, you're not my mom. Yeah. And then maybe that like turned her off from trying harder. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's like his whole life he thinks that he killed his mom.
Yeah.
And so he's got this like guilt about that he should have had a relationship with his mother. Yeah. And also he probably subconsciously knew that he did know his mom for the first 2 years of his life. And so he felt that missing piece. Like, he did have. Also,
that's just crazy, because like the way so many people in that castle working for the king just had to keep that secret.
No, what's the
cook?
What's her name? Gail?
No, something G.
Sorry, guys.
These brains.
Yeah,
I forget some stuff.
Her being able to keep that secret. If I was Kit, I would feel betrayed. Like,
yeah, it's Gail.
The way you turn to a page.
I literally opened straight to a page that says Gail. There we go.
But yeah, the way that they were all able to keep that secret was just insane. Also, okay, let me save that thought for later. Okay. What's your next note?
My next note is...
Wait, so what was the first trial again? See, that's how I'm like, we need to film this immediately after.
Okay, so the first trial was... Peyton had to go retrieve the crown. So she's, that's right. In the cave thing.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't have any notes on that. Like, my next note is about the second trial.
That felt like very simple trial. Like, it was a challenge, but it was like... I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So my next note is like when they're at the second trial. Do you have anything before that?
No, I don't have any notes.
Okay. So I wrote about these are just little things, but Peyton reading books to Kai on the ship, like,
I loved that. I loved how Lauren Roberts made her little bookworm. Like,
I know.
I was
stressing whenever the ship started flooding and her books got wet. I was like,
no, I know. I was like, not the precious memories.
And then her, like, on the ship, like, trying to wave them in the wind, and Kai comes to help her. But no, like, her reading the books to him was so cute. I'm like,
I just absolutely loved the whole second trial. Like, them getting to spend
all that time
together. Like,
yeah, it just felt so. It felt like a lot of progress was made there with their. I don't know.
Because they had to wait to get to land, so there was just a lot of downtime, and like it was nice to see them not having to be in a rush or constantly checking over their shoulders.
But also just like the slight, not necessarily tension, but like they kind of have accepted that they love each other, but like they're still not saying it, and like everyone knows, but they're still trying to hold back because they know that.
Doesn't she even say to him on the boat, was like, no, I'm not going to say it because every time I do, the person dies. She tells him that.
Yeah.
But on the boat, the scene where the guys like take her while they're sleeping, and the illusionist or whatever makes it look like someone's on. Like, no, and he counts the freckles. I knew. Also, don't you just love him? I'm sorry, I love also, him.
Like, sorry, logically in my head I was like, how is he counting them all that fast?
No, I know.
Because it was like 1 second to the next.
I bet there's like certain ones that stood out to him that like weren't there or something, but. That whole scene was so stressful. And then when he was catching her and the pockets were tearing on her
I was like
vest,
starting to
cry. Oh, not the vest.
And I thought she was fully about to lose the vest, but then she somehow got saved, and I was like,
that was so stressful.
Yeah. The next stuff I have is like they're finally back. So do you have anything? I don't know what your next one is.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about when they were there. I liked the queen. What was her name? I'm sorry, guys. I need to next time I'm like, okay, list of characters.
You know, if I meet you in real life, I will remember your name. But if I meet you in a book, not at all. Like, there's nothing in my brain.
But like, if she was a bigger character, I would have. But I really liked her. Also, her just sitting there watching them. I love that. I ate that up. I was like, this is so funny. Also, I hope that she's like, because I know that Lauren Roberts is talking about something else. I hope she's part of it. She's quick and witty, and like I love how she was like, are we gonna be friends? And she's like,
it was just nice also to see the little like camaraderie between her and Peyton, like, because Peyton's lost Aduna and she doesn't really have any friends other than like the guys at the castle, poor girl. But to see that little moment of, I don't know, companionship between them I liked it.
It was fun. I thought she was like smart, and like also when she commented, or Peyton like noticed a few times of her green eyes. She talked about her green eyes like 5 times. Yeah. And so it was like, Lauren is trying to make us think that this is the lost princess, but it's not. And no, like I knew it was Peyton because she always talks about how the king has green eyes and Kit has green eyes. So she was bringing up this person having green eyes. So I was like, Lauren, I know what you're trying to do, and I'm not falling for it.
In my head, I was already sure it was Peyton, so I wasn't even thinking about that.
No, as soon as she was bringing up the green eyes, I was like, oh, she's totally trying to trick us here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what is your next note when she gets back?
I'm just remembering, like, when Peyton showed Kit her ordinary scar, and then, like, Kai eventually finds out that Kit knows. That little moment, I was like, just like seeing his emotion about it. I don't know. All the little moments of their thoughts and things were just so. Oh, I love this book. Okay, my next note is when Peyton and Kai are back, and Peyton like goes back to the slums, and she goes to her little house. I started sobbing immediately. I was like, this is so sad. Her visiting that house and seeing where her and Aduna used to sleep, and then running into Mac too. I was like, and I knew it. When we read Powerful, I was like, there's no way Mac isn't coming back into play.
Yeah, because I read Powerful obviously like before Reckless came out, and I was like, I read it right before because I hadn't read these like as they came out originally, but I was like, okay, I gotta read this real quick because Reckless is about to come out, and then I was like, where's Mac? Like, he's not in Reckless at all. So I was like, okay, he's going to be in this book. So yeah, when she ran into him, I was just like, them just like holding each other, sobbing together. I was like,
that made me sob.
I was so sad.
And also, I feel like there was such an element to it, like, because obviously Peyton knew nothing about Mac, and like when she finds out earlier in the book that like a guy existed for Adina, and she was just like,
Can you imagine how blindsided you would feel?
Yeah. And obviously it was like she couldn't have known because she was in the trials and things were just so fast. But whenever she sees him, it just added this element of like this last piece of Adina.
Yeah.
And she just like this, I don't know.
Oh, also there's a part where he says, like, he's talking about her and he says Dina. He calls her Dina, and then she's like, she was my A, but she was his Dina. And I was like, I'm so sad.
Like to see Adina through someone else's perspective.
Yeah, because for her it's always just been her and Adina.
Yeah.
And so now like Adina has somebody else. Like Mac is her Kai. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. She loved someone too. And also, I feel like that probably was a little bit more heartbreaking for Peyton in that moment to realize, like, how Dina must have been feeling when she was sitting there in the middle of that trial, knowing she's about to die. Her sewing fingers broken. And, like, knowing that she's not only leaving Peyton, but she's leaving Mac.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Adina was sitting there waiting for her death.
I didn't. I don't like that thought. I've never thought about that.
Like, she could hear the announcement. She could hear that there's a person in the middle that's going to die. Like, she could hear the whole thing. She just had to wait. She just had to sit there and wait for
Literally, that feels like when I was a kid and I would have a nightmare and I knew it was a nightmare, but I was just stuck inside of it. And I'm just like, wake up! Rebecca! Yeah. That must be awful. No, that whole moment. But anyways, one of my next notes is literally this whole portion of the book where Kai and Peyton were writing letters to each other.
I was just like, so cute. It was a whole chapter of them writing letters.
It was more than a chapter.
Well, there was one solid chapter of just letters.
But there was like that whole period of time of them writing letters. I was loving it so much, and it just added so much more to the like them deciding like they're going to try to step away from each other, but like they can't.
But they need to
see each other. So it's like the letters back and forth.
That was so fun, and they were so cute.
And then the one of the letters, Kai was like, "What am I to do if not count your freckles?" Even her dang freckles.
And then I wanted to comment on, I don't know if this is before that or after, but they're like at the ball that one night and she gets like super drunk. I was laughing so hard during that whole scene, like
when she walks up to Kai and Kit and she's like, dance with me. She
grabs them both.
I could picture it so vividly.
No, I know. It was just so funny, like the way that she was acting. I don't know. And she made like some comments that just made me laugh. Like it was just a nice little like lighthearted interaction.
That makes me think of another thing. Those small moments we got throughout the book of Kai and Kit having like the scene where they're all in the kitchen and like eating dinner around the table, and Kai and Kit get to have like their brotherly moments. Like I love those scenes so much. Like the scene where Kai, Kit, and Peyton are sitting. I don't remember where. Like they're like in the wine cellar.
Yeah,
I think,
it was that night.
Drinking and talking about memories.
But then we started to get a little piece of the end of the book where like sometimes Peyton would say something and Kit would like shut down.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you're like, what the heck is going on?
What's going on with you, dude? Like, also there's a part around that area where she was like, where he like tells her straight up, he's like, you love him, like, and I was like. I was so frustrated.
She kept texting me. She's like,
because I was like, dude, how selfish can you be? I'm like, let Kai marry her and that be a symbol of y'all uniting as a kingdom or whatever. Like, why does it have to be you?
Because he's still the enforcer.
I'm like, you love your brother, but you're over here not letting him have the person that he loves. Like, you're getting in the middle of this relationship for the rest of their lives. I'm like, y'all are gonna have to have kids. Like I was so annoyed with Kit the majority of the book.
Yeah. Okay, my next note is when Peyton killed Blair.
Whoa.
I was not actually I really didn't see that coming.
No. That was wild.
I didn't think Peyton had it in
when she started saying like her face was melting, I was like,
oh, what is going on?
At first I thought it was like a dream.
Yeah, me too.
Like, and
it was just so, it like felt confusing in it.
Because it jumped like the chapter right before, like it jumped to this, and it was like they were already having a conversation, like she was already walking into her room. I was like, what is going on?
Also, it was just a little bit surprising to me because I for some reason thought we were gonna have like a a moment between Blair and Peyton where it was like a
reconciliation. Because like there was a little bit of what she was like, I'm sorry, like
like I thought we were gonna have an apology and like forgiveness and kind of a relationship, like a friendship start between them. So I like that's what was gonna happen in my head. So she killed her and I was like,
yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
Wild.
Yeah. My next note just says chapter 42 with a ton of question marks. So I'm gonna pull my book out because I don't know what I was talking about.
Literally the next day after this is when she goes into the next trial. Did you open up to it?
43.
Oh. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure right after that is when because that evening Kai visits Kit in his room after she kills, what's her name? Blair. And they kind of discuss it a little bit, and he's like, oh, well, the next, okay, I'm sorry. Peyton goes to Kai's room, and then Peyton has to hide in the armoire, and then Kit comes in. And so Kit is like, okay, the next trial is tomorrow. He's like, why didn't you really tell me? He's like, it's supposed to be a surprise. And so, that little interaction happens, and I'm pretty sure that interaction, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, if not, it's around this time, is the first time like Kit and Kai are talking, and Kit like starts talking to something behind Kai, like he's like kind of talking to the air, and Kai is like what the heck, like who are you talking to? And so that's the first time we get to see a little bit of Kit losing his marbles.
So before I get to the point of what I was actually talking about with chapter 42, that's obviously right after she kills Blair, and she's talking to Lenny because Lenny was like the one guarding Blair. And she says something to him about like, are you not going to miss her? And he's like, I'll see her one day, which is interesting. Like after you read the very last chapter, which we can talk about that then. But besides that, I wrote down chapter 42 because that's when Peyton goes to the last trial and she is put in the middle of the arena and she looks up and she sees Kai. And I was just
No. When that happened, I was like, you're kidding me.
No.
Like,
the immediate like drop in my stomach, I felt.
No. And so, okay, this was happening while we were on a road trip. I was driving and she was sitting in the passenger seat, and our cousin was with us, and she's reading Reckless. So she hasn't gotten through everything yet. And I'm driving, right? And then all of a sudden I see her go, and I was like, what? No, because we're expecting devastation in this book.
And I couldn't hold. I'm not like a reactive, like I don't say things out loud, but it was just so when I heard I'm staring into the face of the boy I love, I was like, I couldn't hold it in.
Yeah,
I was so sorry, but I couldn't.
I was like, what?
So she's immediately on edge, and I'm just. And then obviously, like, I'm like speed reading through those next chapters. Yeah. Like, obviously, we all know what happens. She kills Kai.
So that whole scene happens. Also, let's talk about the scene first. That was the whole time I was like, why is he being so rough? Like, he's not backing down like at all. Like, what's going on? Yeah. I was like getting stressed out. Also, like, I knew something was coming, so I didn't have a big of a shock, I feel like, because she had told me, I'm at 64%. So, like, once I was at that point, I was like, something's about to happen. I told you that. But, like, the whole fight, I was just like
so anxious.
Yeah.
And I was like, so the thing was, as soon as like they're fighting, but when it kind of gets towards the end where Kai's like, I don't know, like they just like you're seeing Peyton's inner monologue of like she has to fight him, but she's so like she doesn't want to kill the man. I'm sobbing. Like I'm in that car sobbing, and I'm like trying to like hide it from Faith because I'm like I don't want to like put you on edge, but I can't hold my tears in for this. Yeah, like the way she's, I don't know, just that whole.
Okay, so obviously, like we need context to fully discuss this scene. So she thinks she kills Kai, right? She wakes up the next morning, or like the few days later, or something like that.
Are we already getting into that?
Well, I need to have the context to be able to say.
You need to say that out loud, so people, as if they haven't read.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody that's watching this has read it, so we know that it's Mac, right?
Yeah.
So she goes and like her and Kai reunite, and then confront Kit, and then they go see, and it's Mac.
Yeah.
So she says to him, like, so he's like at the end when he's like about to kill her. She says, and this line took me out, floored me. She's like, Adina died here. I want to die here too. Through the chest, remember? That is how I want to die, just like the ones I've loved. And she said this to who she thought it was Kai. Mac was fully going to kill her. she said this to Mac, and he hears that, and he knows like how much she actually loved Adina, like because he feels like she screwed Adina over, and he like in that moment he realizes she's not bad.
How much
like,
Peyton cared for her.
Peyton loved Adina, and so then he starts making her kill him. Like she said that to Mac. Like I'm like when I realized that, I like just sobbed even more. Like,
but that's what like during that whole scene before we even realize it's Mac. Like once Mac realizes, and he's gonna let her kill her, and they're having that back and forth conversation. But Peyton thinks it's Kai. Mm-hmm. It's like I was heartbroken. I felt like my heart was ripped out of my chest.
Well, at this point, like. We think it's Kai.
Yeah, but they're just like talking back and forth, and like they're having this conversation before they, like one of them has to kill each other, and like picturing it as if that was Kai, it was just so devastating. Like the love they had for each other, and this is just the situation that they've been put in. And also that one little chapter where it was from Kai's point of view, and it was one line, and it was just like fight back pain, and I was just like,
yeah.
Like, that was one part where I was in the car reading it, and like I was crying the whole time, but when I read that specific chapter I like had to sit it down, and I was like, so
she was like and my cousin and I were like, what the heck is going on? Like we were so stressed out.
But then like, do you have anything else to say about that?
Yeah, I had a thought, and then it kind of said, and then immediately after when she's like holding him and she's like screaming for somebody to help, and then she's like, she looks up at Kit and like she just sees him as a murderer, and like she says in that moment that she's like, he is his father. Like she sees the king when she looks at him now, and I was just like, me too. At that moment, I was like, I wanted to yell at Kit. I'm like, how could you like
to see him do that? Because at this point we think it's Kai, and it's like, you've put your brother in this situation, and this thing you said you would never do, like he said he would never be like that, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be them forever. Like, so they knock her out basically, right? Because she's like fighting.
I think she passed out, right?
I can't remember. I felt like they knocked her out. Yeah, but then she wakes up, and then when she wakes up, what's her
Ellie?
Is it Ellie?
It's Ellie.
Does Ellie know right off the bat, or she just?
I think Ellie knew, but I can't remember.
Because she was interacting with her like Kai was dead. Also, I feel like Ellie brushed over finding them in that closet way too. Like she just continued. She just continued to be like, "Are you excited about the wedding? Are you excited?" I'm like, "Girl, you know she ain't excited. She's in love with Kai." Like, I thought that was so funny how she would just like.
But that's the thing, is like Ellie wasn't technically allowed to say stuff. But if I was paid, it would be like, "Speak your mind."
I know. I'm like,
say something.
Acknowledge this. Like,
no. But the moment, like we find out Kai's not dead, like I thought it was coming, but it's
I knew. I mean, there's no way she was gonna.
There was no way.
What else would she do in the last 35?
We knew it was coming, but like I still let myself feel the emotions. And then once he said, like he was outside the door and said her name, I was like, but then the whole scene of them going to find the guy she actually killed, and it ended up being Mac. I cried all over.
So let's discuss this. I was not expecting it to be Mac, and then afterwards her and I were talking, because I was like, I'm so confused. What is Mac's power? And she was like, he can go through walls like Adina. And I was like, whoa. He can go through walls like Adina? He was literally a wielder the whole time. He was just using Adina's power.
And I didn't even think that through.
She didn't think about it
until
I said
he's a wielder. And then she asked me how, and I was like, he just morphed through the walls because that's what he is. And then she's like, no, he's a wielder, so he's used Adina's power.
Because that was the whole thing. Adina was like, we have the same power. No, he's using your power. Like, I'm like, we had that realization, we like our jaws dropped all over again.
It just makes you like think back, like little details.
And so I know some people think that
he's his brother.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end, I guess, because once we get into all the but so that was like
gut wrenching all over again.
Well, then I'm like, man, I kind of feel bad for Adina. Like, did he tell her? Like, she didn't really know.
She probably didn't know.
No, like that's kind of sad.
They didn't have time to tell each other.
They didn't have that much time to get to really know each other. But
like that scene, the way Peyton just experiences like grief all over again with Mac, like, and she's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, she's like, she feels responsible again.
Yeah.
But also like those little moments like that when we find out that Mac is a wielder and he's using Adina's powers, and like those little connections, that is why I love reading. I like applause to Lauren Roberts. Like, I think authors are so good, like sometimes so good at like connecting all, like when it's a several book series, like connecting all that from the beginning is just so cool to me. Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was...
I forgot, I wrote down a quote. It was like when Peyton's seeing Mac and she's like, says to him, he's dead, but she says to him, take care of her for me, see you in the sky. And it's just like, I don't know, the morning of like, the whole scene was so... Okay, my next, do you have any more?
And something about the end of the book.
Okay, I have one thing about whenever Peyton's trying on her wedding dress, I think it's like when she's trying it on, they're doing the last minute like adjustments, and Kai walks into the room and Peyton turns around and looks at him, and she's like gonna go walk towards him, and he's like, please don't walk towards me in your wedding dress, I can't see that if it's not me. And I was just like this is like, this point of the book I was getting so like, it was just so devastating at this point.
And you know
like,
what?
They're literally about to get married.
I was fully expecting, after her finding out that she didn't actually kill Kai, for them to be like, we're done with this. I was fully expecting them to be like, we're done with the wedding.
Like, why did they...
Like, I was so shocked when they continued.
Like, go away, Kate. Get away from me.
No, if I was her, I would have been like, I'm done. I'm not marrying you. Like...
Yeah.
That would have been enough for me.
Yeah.
Especially if I was Kai. I would have been like, I'm putting my foot down. Like, like, you know what I mean?
No. So next, I didn't write a note about this, but like pretty much right after this is when Kit gives her the jewelry box.
Yes. So it's like wedding day. Kit gives her the jewelry box.
It's like, where's something of my mom's?
Yeah. And so then she doesn't have time. Like, Callum comes in and she doesn't have time to get into the jewelry box. So they go to the wedding. And then she's like, at that point, she's like ready to back out. Was when she gets to the wedding. And I was like, yes, do it. But she's looking for Kai. Oh, also, we totally skimmed over the night before the wedding. Sorry. How they like...
they had their little moment.
They had their little moment. But I was like, the night before the wedding? Y'all are crazy.
Also, the way someone was like... The way they just did it over Ava's grave.
No,
like,
I know. But also, just so if you didn't read it and you're just listening to this, it is still like closed.
It was
fade
pretty
to black.
close story. I still skimmed through it a little bit because she got a little bit... I don't know.
Yeah, she just... I mean, there wasn't really any details.
No.
It's like fade to black. Yeah. But yeah, like under the willow tree where his sister's buried, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Interesting choice. But anyway, so now it's the wedding day. Like, obviously they've united. And I'm like, dude, how are you going to marry this guy? Like, I know. And then she's like looking around for Kai to give her the courage to call it off. And he's not there. Like, obviously he's not there. The heartbroken man right there. But then he like gathers the courage to do it, and he walks in like right after.
I know.
And I'm like,
but okay, I'm trying to remember where exactly is this. Peyton, when she like, I think it's when she walks in there to get married, she sees all the people and she shows her ordinary scar and she gives a speech about it.
No, that's at one of the, I think that's like at the last ball, I want to say.
Okay, then never mind.
But yeah, she does reveal her scar
we'll
to everybody.
Into that later. No, but so after the wedding, when she finds out from the jewelry box.
Yes. So she goes to the jewelry box, opens it, and finds all these notes from Iris to somebody. We don't know yet.
Yeah, and she realizes that she's Kit's sister.
She's Kit's sister. She's the lost princess.
And I knew it. Like, I knew it, but just getting that, like, piece of information to click, and I was just like, Lauren Roberts, you're crazy. Yeah. Also, can we please get it? Why did they not freak out about it
We didn't talk about this. Sorry. We jumped back. We also get a chapter from Edric where we find out when he gets married to Kai's mom that Kai was already born. Sorry. No, we should have said that.
Yeah. So Kai is not related.
Yeah. So, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming right off the bat. I was like, from book one, I was like, I don't think he's his actual son. And so
there had to be a reason why he like so hateful towards him.
Yeah. I loved that detail, and also like I was excited that I was like right about it, because as soon as like the first book and they're like, oh, we're half brothers, and I was like,
no, you wouldn't.
I don't think so. I don't know. I just had a feeling.
Yeah. No, but going back to Kai or Kit and Peyton, why did they not freak out about it more?
No,
they're literally married.
Also,
and they're just
there's a moment where Kai's like, he like laughs a little bit. I'm like, he was like, thank you, God. Like, no, he had a moment where he was like,
the way they just like, Peyton confronts Kit, Kit kills Callum.
Yeah, Kit goes in and immediately kills Callum.
And then they're just like, all right, let's go do our little parade.
Yeah.
No process, like no, like you're not gonna be like, I just married my sister.
No, for me, in
you're
that
not gonna
moment,
freak out about
I
that.
thought it was
You're
gonna
not
be
gonna
like
throw up on the side of the road.
I thought they were immediately gonna be like, okay, like this is done, we're done, like we're not.
And
actually
Kit was just like, well, okay,
nobody needs to know, and I'm like,
but y'all know,
like, yeah.
I was so. That's the one thing I was like, why was there no freak out about it? Like,
Not
I feel
enough
like they
freak
just
out.
took the information.
Well, I know why.
They were like, what?
Because Kit already knew.
No, I know, but like, even Peyton, I feel like she didn't freak out much.
I think it's because Callum was immediately trying to
kill.
Yeah,
or,
like it was too much going on.
I guess I just feel like that would have stunned me. I would have been like,
yeah, yeah. There was so much
going on in those last chapters.
Yeah, when we found that out, and then Kai has this little moment where he was like, like he was like laughing out loud. I was like, that would have been me. Like, thank the Lord.
Also, I feel like that's so Kai for him to just be like.
There's a part where he's like, I felt sick. He's like, I feel sick to my stomach.
No, when I read that line, I thought we were gonna get deeper into it, and then they just passed, and I was like, oh, no, I'm sick to my stomach. Like, can we?
Wait, because he doesn't know yet.
Oh.
Wait, right? He doesn't know yet, right?
I don't know.
He doesn't know yet that the king is not.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Does
Wait, does he know?
I can't remember, because if he doesn't know, and then he just has that information and knows he like supposedly slept with his sister, does he know? I can't remember.
I feel like he finds out that night, right? Yeah, because he goes.
No, because he goes to his mom, and his mom tells him.
Yeah, but after that, though.
Okay, so it's like right after that.
Yeah.
So that for that 1 hour or so.
Okay, so then they go.
Was like,
they go that evening, like, because you would expect them to be like it's their wedding night, whatever. But they found out that. So she goes to her room, Kit goes to his room, and then Kai goes and gets her, and like they basically like, okay, let's figure out what the heck we're gonna do.
Finally,
I know,
something sends y'all over the edge.
I know, and so he goes and talks to. What was it that he found out that? This is gonna drive me crazy. There was something he found out that set him off. To the fact that he was already.
Wasn't it him finding out that Callum was like controlling everything basically? Or
no. He started piecing together in his mind. He was like, wait a minute. I'm a year older than Peyton.
Yeah.
And Peyton is 2 years younger than Kit.
So
where do I fit into this? So right off the bat, he was thinking about that. So he knew right off the bat, he was like, this doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Like, the king's not my dad. And so he goes and gets confirmation. And then they go to Kit. And this is when everything, like, goes
down.
We figure out, like, Kit's, like, insane.
No.
And so, yeah, there was, like, all these little clues, right? Of Kit, like, looking sick, coughing. And, like, he was...
Every time he was coughing, I was like, what's going on, dude?
Kai was commenting on him, like, feeling like his power was weak. Like, he could feel that Kit's power was weak.
Him taking the... What was it called?
The plague.
The plague. Him, like, literally
taking the plague. So the whole scene where we get to find out about, like, Kit's... Everything that's been going on for him. Yeah. I'm like, dude... You're crazy. Like, you're literally crazy.
Him literally being what his father was.
He literally... Yeah, that was... Also, just, like, him being, like... obsessed with Kai... And wanting all of Kai's attention. That's, like, the root of why he did everything he did was because he, like, felt like Peyton was taking Kai's attention. But I'm like... And then Kai said something. He was like, I can love you both. Like, I can love more than one person. It's
not like him picking...
I was like...
No, that whole scene, like... I saw some people say, like, oh, Lauren Roberts took the easy way out with Kit. Like, she just needed to get rid of him so that Peyton and Kai could just be together. And I was like, I don't think so. Like, I feel like that was a natural storyline. Like, it makes sense that Kit went crazy. Like, his childhood... of him comparing himself to Kai and just wanting his father's attention, even though Kai felt like he was missing the attention that Kit got. Mm-hmm. And then also dealing with the fact that his mother died when he was born, and also him slightly wanting a relationship with Kai's mother, and just all those things. I think it perfectly built up. Like, it makes sense why Kit went crazy, especially because his father dies and then he's just thrust into the role of, like, being king. I just feel like it made sense.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the easy way out.
Okay, so sorry. Let's go back a little bit. Something we didn't touch on. Callum is Peyton's dad.
Yeah.
And that, as soon as we met Callum, I was like, he's her dad. I knew it. In Reckless, I just knew it. I don't know why. And then also...
Before we even knew that her dad wasn't her dad?
No, as soon as we meet Callum in Powerless. I'm sorry, I'm mixing all of them up. We meet Callum in Powerless, and he's like the head of the the rebellion or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, something is off about him. Something's different. Like right off the bat, I was like, he's not who he says he is. Like I don't know. I just got it.
It was fishy.
And then when she finds out that her dad is not her dad, I was immediately like, it's Callum, because in Reckless, out of nowhere, so we meet Callum in Powerless. I'm sorry, we meet Callum in Powerless, and he's like the rebellion leader. And then the next time he's mentioned, like the first time he's mentioned in Reckless, is him coming in to advise Kit. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Why is he here advising Kit? So I was like, okay, he's like a double player. He's doing something. How is he in both places? This doesn't make any sense. And so I thought, like, okay, he's probably Peyton's dad. I don't know. I just knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, I didn't really put it together. I don't know why.
I did.
I just didn't think about it.
I did. I was so excited when I got it right. I was like, but anyway, so that's another thing is, that's like, so she loses both of her dads like back to back. I mean, not back to back, but you know what I mean.
But back to Kit's little crazy unveiling.
Yeah.
And then.
But about Kit's crazy unveiling is like when he starts giving all the details.
Yeah.
Finding out that the king gave his daughter Ava the plague.
No.
I was like, this poor baby girl, like she died because her dad couldn't risk having another powerless child.
Also, she wasn't powerless.
He didn't. Did he? I don't think he wanted her to be weak. He wanted her to have a strong power.
Did he give it to her immediately after she was born?
I think so.
Because it's like, don't they have the people that are there to see what the wielders, right?
No, it's the silencers.
Oh yeah, they're there to like see what the power is. So I'm like,
yeah.
Why?
I think it was saying that her power was like a weak power, like a mundane or whatever. So
I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
No, I'm like, that is so heartbreaking. Also, like, I know that was like a whole nother trauma that Kai had to like heal from.
Like his poor little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Kit tries to start killing Kai, right? Or what happens? He just starts fighting him, right?
Yeah.
And that scene of Kit fighting with Kai, and then like
Kai trying to stop it,
and like they're doing their, like Kai's talking about how they're doing their routine, like this is the way they've always fought, like they have their routine of like they know who's going and they know who's like trying to avoid, and then he ends up stabbing him, and then he's just like, you didn't follow the routine.
Yeah,
he
was like, keep doing you were supposed to die.
I feel like that soon, like this kind of goes along with everyone saying like she took the easy way out with Kit, and then also people being mad with Kit, like hating him till the end. Like, yes, I don't like a lot of the stuff he did. I hate that he was so persistent with those, and like, yes, he was going crazy, but that part where he's like, I forgot to dodge, like, sorry, it just made me realize like Kit, he's still a human, like he's still Kai's brother, and like they still care about each other and love each other, and like even though Kit was going crazy, like it still just came from a place
it's
of, like,
a result of his upbringing.
It's a result of his upbringing, and like the things he went through and the things he was craving and desiring and like wanting out of life. So I did not know I was gonna cry in this part. I don't know. It's just like when people are like, Kit is awful and all that, I'm like, but this part, like I feel like it just shows like the true heart of Kit, and like he was just a little boy like craving love in his life, and I didn't know I was gonna cry at that.
I know.
So that's another scene where I like sobbed during that.
It is hard. Like imagine being Kai in that moment. Like when he says like, I can love more than one person. Like that's just heartbreaking. Like also that Kit was like going down this whole spiral like on his own. Like
I know, like if he just talked to Kai.
Yeah, he could have just told him like, hey, like I need more from you. Like I feel like we're not connecting, or like, you know what I mean? It just had to be the whole.
And then that just like leads into the whole grieving process for Kai. Like I was just sobbing all those chapters.
Yeah, so the part right after he kills him, when he's like tells Peyton to run and get help or whatever, and he's like reaching out to find a healer and he can't find anybody, and then
it was so...
then Kit, what does he say? Like, love her. He tells her like he tells him like,
love her for the both of us. No,
Something like that. But yeah, he like in his last moment, like he finally kind of redeems himself, I feel like, as far as all of his recent actions. That was so sad.
I wish I could find it because Kit says something to him. Oh, Kit says, I don't. Ugh. When Kit is like dying, he's like, I don't want to be a monster. I just want it to be great. Like, sorry, I really like. Oh.
Wait, what else does he say?
I'm trying to find it. Oh, he says, love each other for me. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that just also shows, like, in the midst of, like, yes, him going crazy and, like, being a little selfish, he's just, like he went crazy with his obsession over Kai. It's, like, he does know they love each other, and, like, he wants them to love each other, and despite all the things he did, like, he's just saying, love each other. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm a Kit defender at this point.
I'm not like a Kit hater. I just
I understand.
Drove me kind of crazy during the book, but yeah, no, like I get it.
It's
but
the people that have no
also
grace
just finding out all the little things that he did, like lacing the flowers that she sent over the.
As soon as they said that, I was like,
no, I know.
I was like, get on the ship.
Get back on that ship. Fight the beast. And
I was like, don't kill that queen.
I was like, no, I know. But that was, yeah. So then, like, all the letters that they read, all of Kit's letters.
And that was another thing Kit said as he was dying. He was like, I wrote you letters so you can see that I'm not a monster. Yeah. And, like, the whole process, like, the scene where Kai is so down in his grief and Peyton, like, watches him in the tub and, like, just lays with him and sits, like, I don't know. That scene, all of that was just so...
That was, honestly, I loved the way she wrote that because right off the bat, I was scared that Kai was going to be like, oh, I can't, like, you know, when books are like, oh, I can't be with you because of, I just went through this loss and it's my fault and I can't be with, like, you know, they always create some sort of
stupid excuse. Also, they always say, like, I have to step up. I can't grieve right now. Like, I love the fact that we just got to see it. Like,
he grieved and they did it together and they processed together. And, like, there's even the moment, like, where she's being strong for him the whole time and then she has her breakdown and he lets her have her breakdown. Like, he's understanding that she has a different feeling throughout it. Like, also the fact that it's his brother, but it's actually her brother.
No, I know.
Like,
but all of that, I'm like, that whole thing, that whole scene, those chapters, I feel like just made me, like, fall in love with Lauren Roberts. I'm like, you are so, the way you wrote that and, like your brain, the way that came up with it, and you just, like, it made the characters feel so real.
Yeah.
And she just, like, I feel like she wrote the relationship so beautifully of, like, the way they just were a team and, like, cared for each other and helped each other through the grief and leaned on each other.
Yeah.
Why is that the part I'm sobbing about talking?
Because it's all coming together. And
I think it's just because, like, I could cry about Kai dying, but that wasn't real. Like, this was real.
This was a real death, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
It was a rough one.
And so, then they get to get married, though. I love a good happy ending. So I know that they lost Kit, but I was so excited that we actually got to see them get married and that they got to become queen and king. Like,
a perfect little ending.
Yeah. And then we get the epilogue. I was honestly surprised that they named the daughter Kit and not Adina.
I was really thinking it was going to be Adina.
I saw a TikTok where someone was like, why didn't she, like, combine the names or, like...
Yeah, I wonder if it's just, like, she's going to have... If they thought, like, oh, we'll have another kid and name that one something to do with Adina, or... Yeah,
I don't know.
But also I feel like it might be because Kit was, like, the freshest.
And also it was, like, both of their brother. But also, like, what was I going to say? It was really, like... almost sad in its own way to, like, see sad and just bittersweet. Like they were, like, 23 at the end, right? 22, 23, like, whatever. 23 and 24. Like, it was, like, to see them, like, now they're, like, really adults and, like, they're really just doing life and, like...
Yeah, and, like, that's all over and they...
Like, it's been 5 years.
To be together and just experience life.
When it was 5 years later, I was like, yes! I love seeing, like, a where they are now thing.
Especially when you love characters so much. Like, you really do want to see the epilogue.
Yeah.
Also, I was texting my friend about the book. She read it too, and she was like, "I love that epilogue," and I was like, "I did too. I love seeing Kai with his daughter." And she was like, "He's such a girl dad."
Yeah. I know, but just getting to see him be a gentle father when that's not what he experienced was really special. Yeah. And then I don't know, I just loved it. It was so sweet. And then what did they say? Like, I don't know. There was just the whole little epilogue was really cute, and getting to see them
just have a moment
of like a family. As soon as they said like, she said like, oh, you could hear like a little kid in the background. I was like, yep, I knew
there was gonna be a kid in the epilogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And then we randomly go over to the little town and Blair's alive. What was that?
That's what I was gonna talk about.
Is it gonna be about Blair and Lenny? Like,
I don't know, but because that scene where Peyton was like, "Aren't you gonna miss her?" and Lenny was like, "I'll see her again."
Oh, and then before she goes to the wedding, when he's walking her to the wedding, he asks her if she can relieve him of his duties.
So that's what I'm like. She's when he said, "I'll see her again soon," was he thinking like, "Oh, she's dead, and I'll see her when I die," or did he know that she wasn't dead and was like, "I'll see her if I get out of here"?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why he asked, because I'm like, it wasn't confirmed or anything, but like I think Lenny obviously liked her.
It seemed like there was something going on.
Obviously, some sort of relationship going on. And I'm pretty sure that's why he asked to like be released and let go of his duties so he could go be with Blair.
I was not expecting that, and I'm like confused. Like, and I think that's how she wanted it to be. She wanted the end to be a little bit confusing because I'm sure we're gonna get answers. Because she even said in a TikTok was like, "You're gonna get answers, but you're not gonna get every answer."
Yeah.
And so then like when we go into the little epilogue or like last chapter with Kit,
that was so random.
At first, I was like,
what is
happening right now? Like, you're a star, or they're a star. I know that like it's supposed to be like Mac and Adina, but I'm like, why would he be seeing Mac and Adina? Because he didn't really have a relationship with either of them.
I feel like it was just her doing like, they're up there now, but
it was a little bit
confusing. I was like, okay, I don't know what to think
about. Because even Mac says like, we're all waiting for someone. I'm like, who are you waiting for? Because you got Adina. I don't know. It was a little
so what is like, that's the other thing. I'm like, it wasn't Mac and Adina. Like, what was that? I feel like it was very random and confusing, so it has to be explained with whatever she does next.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if anyone else did this, but as soon as I finished the book, I immediately went back to the prologue.
Yes.
And like, you read that and you know that that's Kit and Mac.
Yeah, that's my next note. Is
very interesting.
When you read the prologue, when I read it, I was like, what's going on right now? But then when you get to the end, you know that is Kit's conversation with Mac hiring him to kill Peyton in the trial.
Yeah. I just love that little thing, because it's like you start off and you're like, what the heck was that?
Yeah.
And then you read the end of the book and like you get to go back and see it. It's just, I liked it. It was just a fun little kind of not sure what's going on, and then you get to experience it again.
Yeah. Also, like, okay, there's like little moments I'm remembering right now, like when she can't sleep one night and she like goes out and she's walking in like outside and she hears like she runs into Kit and Kai like training together, and so she hides, and then when Kit leaves, he's immediately like, come out, like I know you're there, and then they just have a little moment like in the rain. Like, it was just like the romance was so good. Like, I don't know, I just like loved it.
Just the like the little moments of yearning, and like they're so aware of each other, and like the forbidden love that we got to see, and like that was kind of, I don't know, a little bit of an unexpected trope, and so good. Also, I love that we got to spend time in the castle this time.
Yeah,
like we came back and had time.
I want to know what is like, how long was it from the beginning of Powerless to the end of Fearless? Because I want to say it was probably only like 4 months. Like, that had to be so fast. Like, that was so fast.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Because how long were the
book
first
series and just like Throne of Glass, all the
1 year?
1 year. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just also so excited to see what Lauren Roberts does next. Like, what is it going to be?
This has just been
how is it going to tie in?
So cool to see from start to finish. I know we didn't follow her like when she was, because I know she documented her process with Powerless.
We weren't there
for that, but like
we were there before Reckless and before Powerful.
Yeah, like getting to see all that, and like I just love her personality and her
the way you like. That's what I was saying earlier. Like with this book specifically, obviously you feel powerless and reckless, but like this one I just felt like I was there with her while she was writing it. Like I could feel her in the words.
There's also just that sense, like, and it makes me emotional because it's like the humanity behind it, but it's like knowing moment period, knowing that like this is her dream and she self-published her first book and then got picked up and now has written 4 books and published 4 books. And this is like, just, she was a little girl once that had a dream, and like getting to see that she succeeded and did all that, and like she's living out what she desired. It's just really so cool to witness, even though I don't know her personally, but I'm like, it's just like, I don't know, a lot of times when I'm reading a book, I'm just like thinking about the author writing it, and I'm like, good job, I'm so proud of you, like you worked hard and you did it. Like that's just how I felt while I was reading it. Also just getting to see, like, 'cause it was also a very bittersweet book to read because it was a conclusion. And like I love this world, I love these characters.
I like, once I finished it, I felt like the whole rest of the day I was just on and off crying. Because I don't know, as soon as I finished it, it was like
they're gone forever.
Like it feels like I'm saying goodbye to my family. Like these are characters I'm so attached to, and like like, yes, I can reread the books, but it's like the end, and it's like their journey's over, and I don't know, it's like that plus just like seeing the love and care Lauren Roberts put into it. It's just, like, I don't know why it was it's just such an emotional thing. This is why we like books, y'all. I don't know, it's just like I felt like I could feel every ounce of love and what was poured into this book, and just, I don't know. Call is crazy. I don't know what's going on.
It was just really good, and everybody that wants to hate on it, I don't get you. I'm sorry. I just really enjoyed it, and I just loved it, and I didn't want it to end, and I was like.
And then I feel like I finished this book, and it's like one of my top series.
Oh,
like,
forever.
This is up there. This is like on par with Avatar, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I feel like it could top it. Like,
I love it.
Like I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Anything else to say?
I don't think so. That was a long episode. So sorry. But next time I'm going to write down way more notes, because I know there's more that I wanted to say, and I feel like I forgot a lot, and I'm so sorry. But I just
talked a lot.
Really loved the book, and if I think of more things, I'm going to comment them. So check the comments. And if you love things, comment them, because it's just
And thank you guys for listening, because I know it's been an hour, over an hour, but like
2 times speed.
it felt honestly great to just sit here and talk about it.
No, that's what I've been waiting for, is to just dive into a book and like fully discuss
everything that's happened.
Yeah.
Though I'm like just so sad, like it's over.
I know.
Goodbye.
Lauren Roberts, let's pump out another. I'm just kidding. No, you can take your time. But I'm so excited to see what she does next.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we will announce
the next book on our Instagram, so be checking.
Yeah, we don't have it picked yet, but
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, and you'll know. You'll hear.
I'm going over here. I gotta tickle my throat. All right. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for listening to us yap.
Listening.
Let us know your thoughts about the book in the comments. Or in our Fable before the thing ends. Like, that's already over. Just let us know your thoughts, because we loved it. And we want to know what y'all thought.
All right. Anyways, we'll see you next week.
Bye.